Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make the little man rowing the boat in the little river scene. Now yesterday, if you watched the video, we learned how to make the paper boat. Today we're going to make the person. Now you need a few very simple props for this, things that are really quite widely available and kind of cheap as well. First you need some cardboard. Now it's a really good idea to use some recycled card because things like cereal boxes and packaging are actually really good cardboard, and you might just be throwing them away or hopefully recycling them. And you can use recycled card. What's great about shadows is if you make a prop out of recycled card, this one's got some writing and some pictures on it, you won't see the writing and the pictures because it's casting a shadow and people are not looking at the card, they're looking at the shadow. So you can just use recycled card. You don't need any special card, which is fantastic, and environmentally friendly, which is really important. So this is I actually bought some storage boxes yesterday, and this was the piece of card that came around them. So I'm using that, reusing it. That's the first thing, bit of card, quite stiff card, not too flimsy. This is quite good, but easy to cut. The second thing you need is something like an elastic band. Now I've got a little blue one here, and then some longer ones here. And you need to make sure that the elastic band can fit around your wrist like that, and that it isn't too tight. We don't want it to be too tight because we don't want it to cut off your circulation, because you still need to be able to use your fingers. This one is not too tight, it's nice and thin. That one might work, and I'll show you what to do with the longer elastic bands a bit later on. And then the next thing you need, of course, is a pair of scissors. Be very careful with scissors because they are sharp. If you need an adult to supervise you, then make sure there's an adult around. And lastly, a pencil. And you can actually use the pencil as a pencil and as the boatman's oar, or you can find a nice bamboo skewer. Now this bamboo skewer doesn't actually have a pointy end because the pointy ends are quite sharp, and I've cut the end off this one so it's not going to accidentally stick into my hand or anywhere else and hurt me. So that's quite important. But the pencil's quite good because you can use it for both things. So first of all, we're going to start with the hat. Now I've chosen a sort of triangular hat, but you can make any hat shape you like. And what you need to do is look at the size of your hand and your wrist and think about the hat fitting over that and being the right size. And so I'm going to draw this freehand. It doesn't matter if you draw it really, really rough. And the nice thing about using recycled card is because it's going to be casting a shadow, it doesn't matter what the card looks like. It doesn't matter if there's writing or drawing on it because nobody's going to see that. All they're going to see is the shadow. So that's my rough hat. Now, no matter what hat shape you draw, the really important part about this is you need to have a tab about that wide at the bottom, so it ends up looking a little bit like a kind of very geometric mushroom, like that. There you go. And this is really important because this is what is going to attach to the elastic band and to your wrist, like that. Now the next step is to cut this out. Of course, as always, be very careful when you're cutting with scissors because they are sharp. And I find it very easy to make a line with the scissors from the edge of the card and then to cut like this. Relatively easy shape to cut because it's mostly straight lines. And there we go. And then around the tab like this. And then the last line like that. There, we've made the hat. Great. So once you've made the hat, here's the hat. You can see a little writing on one side and it's clear on the other side with my pencil lines. You want to just bend the card of the tab a little bit so that it's a little bit flexible like that, because we're going to eventually put it onto our hand. Now the boatman's body is made with your right hand, and what you're going to do is put the 3 fingers in the middle together and these 2 fingers on the outside, and then you're going to bend your hand forward like that so that the thumb and the little finger are the boatman's 2 little arms, and the middle fingers are where his legs would be, and your wrist is hidden behind. And when the boatman rows, he moves his little arms like this. So practice swinging your thumb across and little finger out, then little finger in and thumb across like that. Because when you row, it's that kind of movement like that, so the fingers would be doing that. So we've made our hat, we've made the little person's body, the hat's got to go on top. And this is where the elastic band comes in. Now if you've got quite a small elastic band, or like a little hair elastic works quite well, you can put it around your wrist and it fits quite well. It's not too tight, it's not too loose, just right. And then all you do is you slip the tab of card, this is why the tab is so important, in under the elastic band, and there is the hat. You might need to adjust it a little bit to make the hat stick up, and tomorrow I'll show you how it looks in shadow, but that is the hat. Maybe you need to push it like that. And you can already see there's a little person forming with two arms and a hat on, like that. Of course, the magic of shadows is that this slightly strange looking thing is transformed into something we identify as a little person on a boat. So that's the hat. If you've got a longer elastic band, or you've got very, very thin wrists, the best thing to do, and this is quite a nice tough elastic band, these ones are used by people who deliver your post in the UK anyway. Put the elastic band on your wrist, and you can see it's much too loose. Put it on like that, and then hold it with your other hand until it's fairly tight. It's not really tight, but it's just tight enough. Then just hold that like that, slip it off, and tie a knot where your fingers are holding it. Not too tight the knot, because then you can adjust it a little bit. Then slip the elastic band back on and just check that it fits quite well. You can always adjust the knot a little bit if you have to. Got a little tag there, but make the tag underneath and it won't matter, you won't see that. And then the hat goes in under that elastic band. And of course the test is, does the hat stay there with that elastic? And then yes, it's tight enough. Again, you don't want it to be too tight, because we don't want to cut off the blood flow, because of course we still need the blood flow to our hand, because we do need blood flow to our hands, but also you need to be able to move your hand. There you go. Now we get to the pencil, the bamboo skewer. Now in my little video I used a bamboo skewer because it's nice and thin, and what you're going to do is you're going to put it between the fingers like that, almost weaving it in, so the middle finger and the two fingers on the outside hold it, and then you just rest the little finger and the thumb on there, and they don't even need to touch it really, but when you just do this, you start to get a sense that the little boat person is rowing the boat. And you probably want a longer bit of the skewer down at this end and a slightly shorter bit up there, so it looks like the person is rowing the boat. And you can just hold it like that and practice doing that movement with your fingers. But if you want to use your pencil, if you don't have a bamboo skewer, it works exactly the same. It's a little bit shorter, of course, so it's maybe not as good, but if you've got smaller hands, it will work. My hands are quite big, of course, so there it is. There's the little boat person. I'm going to make him row with the shorter thing, and you might want to just push it down a little bit, and maybe he just rows like that. Lots of different ways. Find a way that works for you. And remember, don't tie your hands out. This is quite a strange position to keep your hand in, so give it a little bit of a flex. So now we have our boatman, we have our hat, we have the little oar that he's using to row the boat with, and now we need to add our newspaper boat. Now remember, if you've made the boat all the way, it's not quite as good as if you make it to this point, so it's a triangle. I mean, you could even just cut out a triangle of card and make the boat like that, actually. But I quite like the way these are quite honest objects. This is just a newspaper, this is just a bit of card, an elastic and a stick, but together they make something quite beautiful happen. And there we have our little person in the boat, rowing the boat. Now at the moment it looks a little bit strange. It's quite hard to see that that's a person rowing a boat, but when we turn a light on and we make a shadow, then it starts to become something magic. Now I'm actually using this bit of my arm to make the water. So when you turn like that, you can see the boat is on the water, the person is in the boat rowing. Like that. You can already get the idea, but when you make it in shadow, then you can move the arm and you can make a little bit of water flowing, and you can do that. Now tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to make the alligator or crocodile. Now you're probably looking at this going, okay, he's got one hand making the boat person, one arm making the water, one hand holding the boat. How is he going to make an alligator with his other hand? Because he doesn't have another hand, and I've only got two arms. Look. Well, you'll have to watch the video tomorrow to see how to do that. So see you tomorrow.